Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review kind of chat thing about the Dark Crystal cores. So my son and I had the opportunity to go to London and see a screening of this before we saw all the kind of London shenanigans. It was his first time to kind of see all the sites, so I think he enjoyed that. We saw most of some interesting sites. Even the underground was interesting. Netflix put on the screening of this, and then we got to see two of the main puppeteers from the series of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance show us what it means and how they do it, and some of the tricks of the trade and some of the things that puppeteers like to keep close to heart. I couldn't film anything because Empire was filming. They said we couldn't film, but I have some stills for you to have a look at, so you might enjoy that. There were sets that it was, I guess, open to some to have a look at actual sets from the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and that was a lot of fun. I really liked the girlfriends and just really how vibrant all of the sets were. They looked fantastic. But the documentary that is on Netflix now, if you loved the series, the new 10 episodes, and I presume you do if you're watching this, you should definitely check out the behind the scenes, the Dark Crystal cores. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen, although I might be a little bit biased because I love the series, but it's well put together, if not a bit long on the tooth. I think it runs for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. I think they could have shaved that down just to an hour, but you could see that the editor just really loved everything. He loved the whole project of everybody who had a hand in the project. He didn't want to exclude them, and so it does run a bit long. But for the most part, you really get to see the ins and outs. One of the most interesting things I found out in watching this documentary is about the director and how well respected he was, because he directed all 10 episodes, which is basically like filming 5 feature lengths. It's kind of unheard of. Most people don't take that on, and because he did, he was hands-on, fully on board, understanding the mechanics and ins and outs. You get to see the sets and how they're created, the fact that because they're puppets, they're high off the ground, and the costume designs right from the ground up. The documentary explains everything, and so most people that watch the Dark Crystal series understand what it is and how they do it. It's puppets, right? Like, that's kind of, you get it. But once you watch the first episode and your brain starts understanding, well, your brain starts forgetting that it's puppets and you get immersed into the world, you might be thinking to yourself, wait, how did they actually do that? And in this documentary, you get to see that really well done. They explain it quite cleverly without making you feel dumb because they're using massive words. It's easily one of the best stories and edited well. Like, if you can say a documentary has a story, of course it does. There's a flow and tempo to the style of what they wanted to get across. The beginning, they show one thing, and then it comes full circle toward the end, and you understand what they were trying to do with it. If you're a fan of the Dark Crystal series, absolutely go and watch this. It really kind of even heighten the experience. The joy of everybody involved, you will get a sense of that. The Dark Crystal probably couldn't have been done if it wasn't for the large amount of names that were attached to the project, like Simon Pegg. All of those kind of sold the project, but it totally couldn't have been made just with those names. It had to be a project where everybody was involved completely and loved the project, because the work itself is much more intense than a standard feature because of all the amount of sets that they had to create within the short amount of time period. They had a 6-month time period, and to get that content out and then release it all at once is quite miraculous. So if you want to see how they did that, then definitely go and check that out. It's amazing, and I'll put some of my footage of the actual set so you can have a look at that and the stills. Let me know what you think about the series and also the documentary. Thanks so much for watching me ramble about this and my sort of review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live young and Tuesday. Here's one I created earlier.
Bottom of the sentence. Exactly. Explain me the story. Explain me.
We need to go see Agura. She's over there.